Science says that everything in the universe is energy. The ageless wisdom says that there is one life, or God, that expresses itself through 7 primary types of energies or qualities. These are called the 7 rays of life, and these 7 types of ray energies color all that is. The 7 rays of life flow and express from the greatest heavens to the tiniest unit of life in the cosmos. The 7 ray energies stream forth into our solar system and planets from the 7 stars of the Big Dipper, found in the constellation Ursa Major, also known as the Great Bear. And they express on Earth through all life and through all human beings everywhere. Knowing about the 7 ray energies you express can help you know yourself and give you better understanding to achieve your greatest potential and life fulfillment. So now let's learn more about the 7 rays from teachers of the ageless wisdom, like William Meeder, Heidi Rose Robbins, and her father, Michael Robbins, president of the University of the 7 Rays and the 7 Rays Institute.
Though the esoteric philosophy would say that all of creation is actually the one life, and that this one life is manifesting as the many, and that there are many divisions of that many as it manifests into the infinite variety and diversity, there are said to be 7 fundamental qualities that arise from that. A simple analogy would be to look at the idea of God as white light. Now, when we take white light and we project it through a prism, we see that it fragments itself into 7 colors of the visible spectrum. By using the law of analogy, we can see the same thing playing out. The one life, the light of God, the light of the one life, manifests in and as cosmos, and in the process it becomes prismatic, and it divides itself into 7 colors, 7 qualities, 7 states of consciousness, and that is what we call the rays. Those 7 qualities are equal in their importance to the one life, and that as they manifest, they then intersect and interface and create different mixtures of density of one over another, and ultimately it leads to the great diversity and manifestation that we have today. These 7 qualities of consciousness are the foundation of everything in manifestation, and that they are uniquely expressive of qualities of life, qualities of consciousness, and in a way, they are viewed as beings in their own right.
So one of the beautiful things about studying the rays is it also can become immediately and deeply personal, because each of our souls is governed and colored by one of these particular ray energies. And every ray energy has a color, has a note, has a mantram, has names attached to it that stream into particular souls. And so we are resonant with and vibrate in this energy of one of the rays, which is in esoteric astrology is deeply important to know. Our rising sign is fundamental, and the soul ray is fundamental as we begin to understand our full spiritual structure. So we do want to know our soul ray, and that is fundamental. But what will be most obvious initially will be the personality ray. When we meet somebody, we'll be like, okay, I can sense the 3rd ray there. That's what will come up first, because it's what is demonstrated. The soul ray, of course, is more subtle and might take more time to deduce within ourselves and within another.
To further highlight that, one more feature needs to be understood. As the one becomes the 7, it first becomes 3 before becoming the 7. The 1 becomes the 3, becomes the 7. And then the infinite number of diversities that arise from that. Think of white light, as I said, going through a prism, but a prism is always going to manifest as a triangle, and that you're projecting light through a triangle of prismatic glass, and that causes the division of the light into 7 colors of the visible spectrum. So in that simple analogy that I've given you, you have the 1, the white light, the 3, the prism, and the resultant 7 rays that come through as the light passes through that prism. So the analogy is very useful in just getting a sense of the underpinning of how important the 3 is, but even more so now, as it'll give us an understanding of where does the 7 come from? Where does it emerge out of? And each of these 7 rays is, in a way, a deity in its own right, a massive life force, and each has a piece to play in the evolution of all things.
There are 7 primary streams of consciousness, 7 unique qualities that stream through our solar system from the greatest heights all the way to the tiniest fragments. The 7 rays are the 7 great beings. They're 7 great living beings that stream forth their qualities through the planets, through the zodiac, through the human constitution.
I think everybody who has studied human nature realizes that beneath all the diversity of outer behavior, there seem to be some fundamental orientations in the human being. Even the modern psychologist, not knowing anything about this esoteric doctrine, gives kids interest tests and divides the results into 7 different types of psychological orientation. You know, it could be commercial, it could be social, it could be mechanical, organizational. There's these different types of divisions that the perceptive psychologist has noticed. And our outer form might have 7 different types of personality. You know, you can have leaders, lovers, business people, thinkers, artists, scientists, devotees, organizers. I just took a quick run through what we call the 7 rays, or the 7 psychological types. But those energies come from the very top of cosmos. They come from the first 7 fundamental integer gods, if I could call them that. We oftentimes say those energies come from the Great Bear, and they do, and that's much more local. You know, we're right inside our galaxy, right inside our local cosmos system, and it's a fascinating subject because, you know, with astrology, you look in the sky and you say, well, this is here, that's there, and you see where everything is. With the rays, the energies, 7 energies, you have to be very discerning. You have to kind of look through the person and just see their general behavior patterns and then add the astrological chart to that. And if you know the soul energy and you know the personal energy, you can go into that astrological chart and make a lot more sense out of it. That's going to be the new astrology, the new rheology, the new psychology.
The new psychology is already underway today. Teachings on it are available in the Esoteric Psychology books by Alice Bailey. Courses are also being taught on Introduction to the 7 Rays, where people can learn more about the 7 ray energies, and then they focus on which rays are expressing through you. It's all a part of the Know Yourself ray process in esoteric psychology. When you learn more about the 7 rays of life that you express, you gain valuable insights into your unique qualities, talents, strengths, and weaknesses to overcome, to help you achieve your greatest life fulfillment. The University of the 7 Rays and the 7 Rays Institute offer courses on the 7 rays, What follows now is a free sharing of the Introduction to the Seven Rays course taught at a recent annual SRI USR conference. We hope it will benefit you in your process of self-understanding and the development of the abilities to achieve your highest potential and expansion in life. The greater life, the one God, is everywhere and is in all of us. May the goodness and spirituality flourish as we understand more about ourselves, the seven-ray energies we express, and our divine potential. And now, welcome to the Introduction to the Seven Rays and Know Yourself.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Olivia Hansen, president of the Spiritual Life TV channel, and welcoming you to an introduction to the Seven Rays. We're here at the SRI USR conference in Chandler, Arizona, where our pre-conference seminar is being offered. So many people have already taken the Seven Ray Intro seminar, and now we're offering it in an insightful way for our viewing audience on the internet. So what are the seven rays? Well, science says everything is energy, and esoteric science says there are 7 types of energy that make up the world and the universe. These energies make us up too. The 7 rays carry special vibrations, qualities, attributes, and ways of expression. Having a sense of the makeup of one's rays of energy and their qualities helps a person in the process of know thyself. It gives insight into one's purpose in life, one's work and service, one's greatest joys, one's strengths and traits to overcome. It helps a person better understand themselves to live a happier, more fulfilled, and meaningful life. So you can see how very beneficial it is to know what your rays are. A helpful thing for people exploring their rays is, as well as a good beginning for a 7-ray seminar, is taking something called the PIP. The PIP is an online personal identity profile, so PIP, in a psychological inventory that's designed to help a person determine the individual rays that he or she expresses. The person answers questions about himself or herself, and the answers given help indicate the ray influences in their life. The results are then shown in color charts and various summary data. This self-reporting, self-evaluating process, approached from a number of perspectives, can help you get in touch with the energies you carry and the qualities you express. The PIP test has been enhanced and updated 3 times, and now it's called the PIP 3. You can find it online at www.pip3.com and use the number 3 in the website address. And now, Michael Robbins explains more about the PIP 3 test.
Well, hello, everybody. I am Michael Robbins. I'm the president of the University of the Seven Rays and the Seven Ray Institute, and the director of the Moria Federation for the development of new esoteric schools. I guess I should say I'm also the creator of the PIP, the Personal Identity Profile, along with my co-worker and computer expert Rick Good, who all these many years, 35 years now, has helped create them. Rick passed on, but his legacy is with us in helping people to understand their ray configuration, which is the basis of the new psychology, let me say. So, is it simply the personal identity profile? Well, it's a bit more than that, because it can help you understand your inner soul nature, your true individual higher nature. So it goes beyond the persona, and that is important. The PIP has undergone a number of incarnations as we've attempted to improve it since the early days of using little office cards to write down questions, which we sorted out. So it's gone through, 3 incarnations, and now we have the new PIP 3 through the help of the Synthesis Foundation and Walter Pullen and Stephen Renneberg and a number of other people, Kathy Manker, who have helped us get it ready for an improved experience on the part of the people who want to know what may be their subtle energy ray chart. We've done a lot of research along these lines, and we hope we have helped in distinguishing the 7 rays expression for people who really want to know what are the causes of their character. It takes a lot of discrimination. You'll see that sword on the wall. That's the sword of discrimination, helping us separate one quality from another so that we can be really clear about all of these color strands of sound mixed together to make us the kind of personality and the kind of soul that we are. The PIP is now available in a new way. It's PIP 3, and we have an app for PCs, and it can be now downloaded onto your computer, and then the test, or maybe we should call it, questionnaire, can be taken. So this information that we get from you is then converted into ray expressions. And the result will come to you in color charts. And they can be, worth 1,000 words as you look at the different colors that are correlated with the rays. Red for the first ray, and indigo for the second, and green for the third, and ray 4 is yellow, and ray 5 is orange, and ray 6 a mixture of rose color and lighter blue, and then ray 7 is violet. You'll also have a chance to look at your highest aspirations and set them in order. There are 14 of them, and they correlate quite well with your general results, I think, in most cases, answering the main part of the test. And you'll be looking at the areas where it is necessary to improve. We call that traits to transform, and sometimes it has special names like glamours and illusions. This test will give you a general accounting for how the different rays, 7 of them, relate to each other in the expression of your life. And it'll be based upon your answers, as honest as possible, and not wanting to be one thing or another, but just answering things in an objective manner. So these PIP charts are very useful, they're very helpful, I think. These 7 ray energies represent 7 fundamental qualities, just like the colors of the spectrum of the 7 notes in the octave before it returns to the octave note, and will provide insights and qualities and strengths that you express, and areas where you need to improve yourself. But it should give you a kind of a causal picture of what lies behind the more obvious expression, which you recognize about yourself, and many people do. But what's behind all that, those are the subtle energies, and that's what we hope to have you understand a little more fully. So we invite you to learn more about the 7 rays, in this 7-ray seminar, which is going to follow the little bit that I have to say. And then take the PIP-3 test, the newest incarnation, to see how this information may apply to you. What rays and qualities do you express the most, and how do you use these purposefully to evolve and improve not only your character, but improve your contribution to humanity? So it'll help you understand yourself better and your strengths and your weaknesses, and we all have them, both. And so you can develop your potentials and basically create for yourself a fuller and a happier life, which will mean a fuller and happier life most often for the people around you. So also, on a deeper level, knowing your rays, or at least having a pretty good working hypothesis about them, gives you insights into your higher ray, your soul ray, which stays with you life after life, and your life purpose and how you're meant to unfold spiritually. So, we're all trying to make a better world, and the more we know ourselves, the better we know ourselves, the more we can contribute along the line that is most useful to humanity. So now let's get into it with Eva Smith. Let's learn more about the 7 rays, and then you can take the PIP test and see how the rays apply to you. It's usually very interesting, and so enjoy the seminar, and we'll look forward to you taking the PIP test and passing it on to others who may be interested in the deeper roots of their character and their potentials. Okay, all the best to everybody, and enjoy.
So, okay, we're ready to get underway. I want to introduce our teacher for the 7 rays, Eva Smith from Toronto, Canada. She's a good friend of mine, co-worker, and collaborator. We've taught the 7 rays together many times. Eva teaches the 7 rays internationally in Canada, the US, and Brazil. And she's going to Brazil again this year to teach the 7 rays. She's a longtime teacher and student of the Ageless Wisdom and the teachings of the Master Dwal Kul, whose wisdoms are found in the Alice Bailey books. Eva holds an MSE degree and a PhD degree from the University of the 7 Rays. She's a faculty member at the Moria Federation School of Esoteric Wisdom and has been for many years. So Eva, we warmly welcome you, and let's begin.
So, you see the 7 ray names here, but what I really want to say before we actually get started is that it's not going to be just 7 rays that we're going to be covering. We're going to be covering a much larger overview of an esoteric nature. So you're going to get quite a bit of psychology of the rays, because the rays are psychology, as well as the overview of how the rays come to us, how they descend, that kind of thing. So you'll get quite a large perspective, hopefully. And then by the time you're done, hopefully you'll have some idea of the rays. So let's move on. So this workshop or seminar, it's designed to be full and immediately applicable. You will learn, like Livy said, a greater understanding of yourself, of others that you know, and historical people, countries, animals, things like that, because everything is rays. Right away, you'll begin to use this information. So this workshop is quite full. There is lots to convey.
Yes, friends, the 7 Rays seminar that I usually teach has a lot of information in it, and it takes a while to experience it. But now I want to summarize a lot of it so you can immediately begin to use the core teachings and start the direct process to know yourself and the 7 rays of life that you express the most. I will share the main qualities of each ray, give you some examples of well-known people who express that ray, and then tell you some of the strengths and weaknesses to overcome of each of the 7 rays as they express in people. This overview should give you a helpful taste of the qualities of each of the 7 rays of life so that you can begin to recognize which qualities you see in yourself. You can jot down the rays you seem to have a lot of resonance with. After that, you can download and answer the PIP Ray Self-Assessment Questionnaire, telling more about yourself to give a fuller picture, and then see what your results are, including a personal color chart with graphs of the estimated amount your expression of each ray. It is really interesting and helpful. So now let's begin to learn more about the qualities of each ray. The name of each ray generally expresses 2 qualities of the ray, not just one, that are related. For example, with ray 2, love wisdom, a person may express more on the love side than the wisdom side of the ray, or vice versa. Or ray 4, harmony through conflict. At first, there might be much conflict that with growth is resolved into harmony. Or ray 6, some people on this ray may express more devotion than abstract idealism, or vice versa. So a person will relate to one named quality of a ray more than the other. Therefore, when we list the ray's vocations, strength, and weaknesses, a person who has that ray in their makeup will have a strong rapport with only some of the choices mentioned, not all of them. So even if you have a lot of a ray in your makeup, you won't express all of the strengths or weaknesses. We are listing the range of them for both qualities of the ray. And now, I want to give you a brief run-through of the 7 rays, their vocational tendencies, their strengths, and their weaknesses. When you rewatch this video, you can stop it at any point to think more about a particular ray and see if you see yourself in it. Of course, the PIP 3 gives the best in-depth self-evaluation. So let's do a quick run-through now of the 7 rays and their attributes so you can get a little taste now. Ray 1, will or power. We will look at some vocational tendencies associated with will or power. Positions of leadership. CEOs, kings, dictators, presidents, military leaders, executives, law enforcement, authority figures, explorers and adventurers, and demolition experts. Some people that do display some of these characteristics would be Napoleon, Julius Caesar, Abraham Lincoln, Franklin Roosevelt, Adolf Hitler, Margaret Thatcher, Richard Nixon, Angela Merkel, Malala Yousafzai, as well as a father figure. Some of the strengths for the first ray of will and power would be power to direct, to lead, or to govern, will, courage, fearlessness, a strong sense of purpose, independence and detachment, power to initiate, power to liberate, synthesis and large-mindedness, a strong one-pointed focus, as well as the power of beneficent destruction. And now, here are some pictures of the first ray in expression. Let's look at the weaknesses of Ray 1. Power hungry and domination, unrelenting ambition, excessive pride and arrogance, control and suppression, anger or violence or cruelty, obstinance and willfulness, separativeness, isolative and overly impersonal, unnecessary destructiveness. Do any of these qualities, strengths, or weaknesses resonate with you? All right, let's move on to the next ray. Now let's look at Ray 2, Love Wisdom, and some of its vocational tendencies. Teaching, healing, spiritual upliftment, psychology, humanitarian assistance, and rehabilitation. And some people that actually display some of these characteristics would be Maria Montessori, Aristotle, Dr. Benjamin Spock, Florence Nightingale, the Dalai Lama, Yogananda, Carl Jung, Sigmund Freud, Albert Schweitzer, Princess Diana, and a mother. And the strengths for the second ray of Love Wisdom would be power to teach and illumine, power to heal via medicine as well as love wisdom, power to spiritually uplift, inclusiveness, oneness, loving understanding, wise action, intuitive love, compassion, empathy, and sympathy, sensitivity, receptivity, patience, calmness, and serenity. Let's take a look at the second ray in expression. Some of the weaknesses for the second ray of Love Wisdom are love of being loved, oversensitivity and vulnerability, lack of self-confidence, self-pity, non-assertiveness, passive, fearfulness, overprotecting, love of comfort and security, over-inclusive, boundary issues, attachment, slow to action, over-absorption in study, intellectual pride. Do any of these qualities, strengths, or weaknesses resonate with you? Okay, so we'll move on to the next ray. The third ray is called active intelligence. Its vocational tendencies would be something like philosophy, academia, astronomy, business, finance, economists, advertising, salesmen, strategists, philanthropists, lawyers, and communications. And the people who convey these tendencies would be Plato, Socrates, Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Ken Wilber, John D. Rockefeller, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Mackenzie Scott, Rudy Giuliani, and Walter Cronkite. Some of the strengths for the third ray of active intelligence are activity and adaptability, abstract thinking and creativity, theorizing and speculating, rigorous analysis and reasoning, business and economic aptitude, philanthropy, skillful communication, planning and strategizing, and power to manipulate for the good. Here are some examples of the third ray in expression. And weaknesses for the third ray of active intelligence: intellectual pride and criticism, tangential, overly complex thought, excessive thinking without practical action, hyperactivity and rushing, inaccuracy in detail, absent-mindedness, chameleon-like and over-adaptable, manipulative and calculated, opportunism and amoral materialism, devious, deceptive, deceitful. And do you see yourself in any of these qualities, strengths, or weaknesses? Ray 4, harmony through conflict. Some vocational tendencies are the arts, entertainment, dramatics, beautification, interior design, hair or makeup stylists, art therapy, peacemaking, diplomacy, and mediation resolution. Some people who exhibit these tendencies would be Mozart, Beethoven, Michelangelo, Picasso, Shakespeare, Edgar Allan Poe, Elizabeth Taylor, Brad Pitt, Beyonce, Robin Williams, Henry Kissinger, and Madeleine Albright. Some of the strengths for the fourth ray of harmony through conflict are artistic talent, strong imagination and intuition, colorful, dramatic, spontaneous, expressive, the ability to amuse and entertain, literary abilities like word painting and storytelling, the love of beauty and creating it, One grows via struggle and crisis. A fighting spirit for principles. Peacemaking. Mediation and reconciliation. Compromise, bridging and linking. These are examples of the fourth ray expression in people. Some of the weaknesses for the fourth ray of harmony through conflict are inner and outer turmoil, conflict and crisis, moving from one extreme to the other, exaggeration, overly dramatic, worry, agitation, excessive moodiness, overwhelmed, self-absorbed in suffering, indecision and lack of confidence, procrastination, laziness, unpredictable, unreliable, and impractical, combative, argumentative, moral cowardice, overeager for compromise. Do you see yourself in any of these vocations, strengths, or weaknesses? Ray 5, concrete knowledge or science. Some vocational tendencies for the fifth ray would be being a scientist, an inventor, an engineer, technology, computer programmer, researcher, doctor, nurse, school teacher, electrician, plumber, mechanic, or an accountant. Some of the people that display the fifth ray of concrete knowledge or science would be Alexander Graham Bell, Louis Pasteur, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Noah Webster, Mr. Spock from Star Trek, Edwin Waterhouse, Steve Jobs, Jonas Salk, and your family doctor. Some of the strengths for the fifth ray of concrete knowledge or science would be linear sequential thinking, keen and focused intellect, accuracy and precision in thought and action, practical technical inventiveness, discovery via research and experimentation, ability for mathematical calculations, the ability to define and separate, analysis and discrimination, detached objectivity, common sense and rejecting nonsense. The fifth ray can express in pictures like this. Some of the weaknesses for the fifth ray of concrete knowledge or science would be overly mental and ultra-rational, lack of intuitive sensitivity, concreteness, and overly linear, excessive doubt and skepticism, requiring proof in matter in order to believe, rigid and set thought patterns, narrowness and prejudice, excessive criticism, lack of emotional response or magnetism, socially awkward. So, do any of these qualities, strengths, or weaknesses resonate with you? Ray 6, the ray of devotion or idealism. Some of the vocational tendencies for the sixth ray would be a religious leader or a follower, a monk, a nun, being a motivational speaker, a coach, cheerleader, crusader, an activist, a politician, a fundraiser, or a charitable worker. Some of the people that demonstrate Ray 6 devotion or idealism would be Jesus, Mohammed, St. Paul, St. Francis, Reverend Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Ku Klux Klan rabble-rouser, Billy Graham, Vince Lombardi, Mr. Rogers, Tony Robbins, and Oprah Winfrey. Some of the strengths for the sixth ray of devotion or idealism would be the ability to be inspirational and uplifting, idealistic and having high principles, the power to arouse and persuade, being optimistic, enthusiastic, and persistent, being devoted, loyal, and faithful, being earnest and sincere, receptive to spiritual guidance, purity and goodness, the ability to reach mystical heights and ecstasy, being self-sacrificial for a higher purpose, humility and innocence. Here is how the sixth ray can express. Some of the weaknesses for the sixth ray of devotion or idealism would be fanaticism and militarism, being self-righteous, my truth, blind faith, gullibility, over-trusting, dependency or codependency, taking everything personally, emotionalism, jealous love, idealistic impracticality, perfectionism, unattainable goals, self-criticism, self-negation, and even masochism, extreme overdoing, the martyr complex, denial and escapism. Do you see yourself in any of these qualities, strengths, or weaknesses? Ray 7, the ray of ceremonial order or magic. Some vocational tendencies for the seventh ray would be an organizer, an administrator, an executive, a manager, a judge, an architect, a city planner, a map maker, a choreographer, a craftsman, an etiquette expert, an ecologist, a ritualist, and a magician. Some people that might display these tendencies would be Benjamin Franklin, Buckminster Fuller, Frank Lloyd Wright, John Dewey, Antonio Stradivari, Emily Post, and Martha Stewart, Walt Disney, Rachel Carson, Greta Thunberg, Harry Houdini, and David Copperfield. Some of the strengths for the seventh ray of ceremonial order or magic would be the power to create order, the power to order and transform, the ability to plan, to manage detail, and to build, the power to manifest on the physical plane, the power to synthesize parts into a whole, the ability to coordinate and work with groups, a keen sense of rhythm and timing, the ability for ritual and ceremony, the power to work with angels, with devas and elemental forces, and the power as a magician. The seventh ray expression can look like this. Some of the weaknesses for the seventh ray of ceremonial order or magic would be rigid orderliness and inflexibility, being subservient to habits, routines, and the status quo, crystallization and being non-adaptable, conformity and over-concern with rules, concerned with the dead letter of the law, formalism and being non-spontaneous, excessive perfectionism of the form, judgment based upon appearances, addiction to occult phenomena, and dark magical arts. Do you see yourself in any of these qualities, strengths, or weaknesses? Now we continue with the 5 vehicles or bodies of a person and the 7 rays of life that are generally expressed through them. The 5 vehicles or bodies are 1. The soul, 2. The personality, 3. The mental body or mind, 4. The emotional body, and 5. The physical body. The spirit aspect of a person is expressed on a ray as well, but that is a subject for later on. With the 5 bodies of a person and the 7 rays that are generally expressed through them. The soul can be on any of the 7 rays. The personality can be also on any of the 7 rays. The rays for the mental body are generally ray 1, ray 4, or ray 5. The emotional body rays are generally on ray 2 or ray 6, and the rays for the physical body are usually ray 3 or ray 7. Now let's focus on the soul and the personality. The soul is our higher self, a spiritual expression of light, love, and the will to good, and with the qualities of inclusiveness and working for the good of all. The soul can express through any of the 7 rays of life, each with their special qualities. It's important to note that a person's soul ray and their personality ray are generally not the same, but on different rays, which brings in different qualities and energies to try to harmonize. It evokes challenges in a person's life in which a person needs to stretch oneself and grow in abilities and spiritual expression. It's also important to realize that when a person knows their soul ray, this gives greater insight into their life purpose. Thus, the soul endeavors to infuse the personality with its spiritual influences so that the personality can achieve its highest life purpose. Let's look at the personality. The personality can be on any of the 7 rays. The personality brings together its 3 vehicles of expression. That is the mental body or mind, the emotional body, and the physical body. The personality works to integrate these 3 vehicles into one coordinated instrument that can function effectively in the world. Then the emotions don't totally dominate, nor does the mind, nor the physical body. They all then work together as a coherent and effective whole. The personality works to develop its sense of I-ness and its abilities and personal goals, and then it is ready to respond more to the soul's energies. The soul begins to infuse the personality with higher spiritual qualities, until eventually, after many life expressions, depending on one's effort for self-refinement and service, all of the qualities combine into becoming a soul-infused personality. A soul-infused personality is able to express its highest qualities of light, love, and the will to good, and service to humanity throughout its ray expressions. With this ability, the person achieves an advanced spiritual stage of consciousness in human development. This is our goal in life, for a more fulfilled spiritual life to become a soul-infused personality. It brings the fullness of know thyself into an outer manifestation of an illumined life. In addition, the 7 rays of life express in everything. There is nothing in the whole solar system at whatever stage of evolution that does not belong and has not always belonged to one of the 7 rays of life. All the kingdoms in nature are conditioned by the 7 rays, but the human kingdom provides a most complex and interesting depiction. We have been focusing on how the 7 rays express in you so that you can know yourself. But we want to note, importantly, that the 7 rays of life express not just in individual people, but collectively as well, through groups, organizations, nations, and institutions, as well as in animals and other kingdoms. Everything in our world expresses one or another of the 7 rays of life. As you can tell, there is much to learn about the 7 rays of life. And now you have some core concepts as you apply the 7 rays to a deeper way of knowing yourself. After watching the Know Yourself 7 Rays of Life video, you can find your 7-ray self-assessment questionnaire called the PIP3, which represents Personal Identity Profile, at the links below. Download the PIP3 program on your personal computer, Then answer the questions about yourself and your preferences. And when you have completed it, the program immediately generates your color chart graph of the general amounts of each of the 7 rays you are expressing. Then you can assess which rays with the larger expressions are found in your 5 vehicles or bodies: the soul, the personality, the mental body, the emotional body, and the physical body. A ray may express itself in more than one body, and we can draw on all the rays to some degree. You can also see a 7 rays coaching video with Dot Maver and Olivia Hanson. Dot developed a 7 rays self-assessment questionnaire for her PhD a number of years ago and helped found the 7 Rays Institute. Dot and Olivia coach a group of people who have taken the PIP3 and have the results of the rays that they most express. Then the people receive coaching to assess which rays express on what bodies. Watching this video can be instructive and helpful. See the 7 Rays coaching video on the Spiritual Life TV channel. For additional information on the 7 Rays of Life, you can contact Eva Smith at eva7rays@gmail.com for a 7 Rays interpretive reading after you take the PIP3. Eva can help you interpret the results of your personal identity profile, the PIP3, and give you more insights into your personal rays and which rays express on which bodies and answer your questions. She can also host a coaching session for your organization. There is also information about the 7 Rays of Life at the 7 Rays Institute. See the links below. Later on, an esoteric astrology reading from a soul perspective can be helpful, which will bring in the outer astrological energies that affect you with your inner personal 7 Rays energies. Contact Eva Smith at eva7rays@gmail.com or Heidi Robbins at www.heidi.rose.com or William Meter at www.emergentlight.com. Heidi and William are well-known esoteric astrologers who also understand the 7 Rays of Life. When you know your 7 Ray energies and your astrology energies, you have a more complete personal psychological energy profile with clearer insights into more fully knowing yourself. We want to help you better understand your energies and qualities and your strengths and weaknesses to overcome that make you uniquely you, and to help you fulfill your highest potential and have a happy, thriving life and make your contribution to a better world. Best wishes on your efforts to more fully know yourself.